Good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Hope you are all very well. I have a very croaky voice today and sound slightly like Barry White, but bear with me. Guys, during the live stream, we are here for about 45 minutes. We are going to do the following. We are going to do some in-depth market analysis. We're also going to look at a couple of trades that are setting up as we speak. There's a couple of Aussie dollar pairs that we're looking at and they're setting up. So we'll take a look at those. We're also going to take all of your questions, guys. So don't be shy. Come say hello in the live chat. Leave a question. And it could be anything to do with trading, right? It could be something to do with trend and structure, support and resistance, candlesticks, money management, psychology, or you just want me to look at a currency pair, no problem, guys. All right. So please leave a question in the live chat. We're also going to look at, there isn't any news really to speak of, guys. We did have some CPI data come out of Europe earlier. And these were as expected. We've seen a little bit of strength in the euro throughout the day, but that might be reversing literally as we speak, and we're going to look at that. And we do have some crude oil inventories later, but not during our live stream. So that'd be interesting as well. We've got building permits at 1/2 the hour. That could affect Canadian dollar a little bit. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. But back to the charts. What am I seeing today? So if you go to the free Discord channel, guys, you will see all of my trade ideas, right? And one of them was Euro Aussie dollar. So we've got potentially a few Aussie dollar pairs happening all at the same time, which is no coincidence, right? They are all correlated. My voice is so croaky. Let me have a quick drink. Got my Liverpool Football Club favourite mug, and I'm on my industrial strength coffee. And also my spaghetti bolognese yesterday, guys, was a roaring success as well. I surprised myself. Right, so Aussie dollar pairs. Euro Aussie dollar. Right, we're in this downtrend. Okay, and we have a nice big bearish daily candle as well, right, which suggests more room to the downside. Okay, I would aim for the next psychological level, this 1.72, in terms of a higher, a more long-term target. If we drop down to the H4, guys, right, you know, this could potentially, we're starting to see a wick, right? I wouldn't say it's bearish enough yet, but if we get a big wick that closes back in here, right, then Euro Aussie dollar's looking very attractive, right? To take price lower. Even if I, you know, like I said yesterday, guys, I might start selling in here, right, if the candle finishes like that, but I still need to put my stop loss above here, right, which means the trade has to travel further, right? But first and foremost, guys, think about your stop loss, right? So if your stop loss is in here, you have put it currently in the place where you are wrong. And that's where your stop loss needs to go. You know, you can't start selling here, you know, and putting your stop loss here. Right, it doesn't make a lot of sense because price could quite easily track back up into there before we get a big reaction, right? So your stop loss above this last high here is where you are totally wrong. But Euro Aussie dollar, guys, right, looking for sells. Now, Aussie dollar, Swiss franc, obviously these two trades are highly inversely correlated, right? They're the same trade. Pretty much, but we're buying this. So again, with Aussie dollar, Swiss franc, we're in an uptrend. Okay, we've got a nice big bullish candle. You know, we've got some more room to the upside. Probably look at this last low in here and this 0.55 level. Again, we're just waiting on the H4, right? You know, is this candle going to finish bullish enough? Even if it, you know, finished now, could we start buying here with stops below here, really? Yeah, and the answer is yes, we could start buying there with stop losses here, right? But, you know, does price want to retrace a little bit further? It will depend entirely on this candle, this H4 candle, which will finish forming in about 55 minutes. Not about, pretty much exactly 55 minutes. And also, what was the last Aussie dollar pair we were looking at? Was also looking at pound Aussie dollar. So this is what I'm liking the look of, guys. All Aussie dollar pairs as we speak. And as you can see, pound Aussie dollar is in this downtrend. We just want to see a big bearish candle for all of these Aussie dollar pairs. If I do, we have a trade and we can start coming lower. All right, so that's what I'm looking at right now, guys. Again, I'm not in any trades because the markets are screwed a bit, right? There's still so much volatility in them that's just carried on from Monday, and they're just not that easy to trade at the moment. But if we get some bullish or bearish candles on those Aussie dollar pairs, I will be trading them. And as always, guys, I'll put all of my trade ideas where I enter in the VIP, guys. All right, so go check it out. Right, let's see who is in the live chat. Let me just bring it up. Brett, afternoon, Brett. How are you, mate? Get your questions over to Tom. Yes, please do. Don't be shy, guys. Get your questions over to me. Mark, hi. How are you? Michael, good afternoon, Tom. Hope you're well. Pound yen, please. Okay, we'll take a look at that right away. All right, so let's go to pound yen. And what we're going to do, guys, we're going to do a top-down approach. Okay, but we're going to do this together. All right, let me remove this. Okay. So everyone, right, you're here to learn, you're here to understand trading, understand price action. So don't be shy, get involved. We are going to do a top-down approach, which is what I do with every single time I look at a currency pair to see if I have a trade or not, right? So pound yen, if we look at the weekly chart, guys, just getting myself comfortable, you have three options as a trader. You can buy this chart that you're looking at. You can sell this chart that you're looking at, or you can stay out of this chart. All right. So everyone right now, get involved. Weekly chart. Would you buy, sell, or stay out of this market? Pound yen weekly chart. Don't be shy, guys. Come leave your comment in the live chat. I will have a drink of coffee because I have a very sore, tickly throat today. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Right, we've got some questions coming in. Dre. Well, they forgot about Dre. I love Dr. Dre. We'll answer all of these questions, guys. Parandeep will answer that as well, guys. But first, get involved with this. Would you buy, sell, or stay out of this market? So Marky Mark would stay out. Brett would stay out. Michael would stay out. Anyone else? Get involved. What would you do with this market right now? What you're looking at? Buy, sell, or stay out? Rich Paul, how are you? Okay. Any more, guys? Any more answers? So pretty much everyone has said stay out. Okay. So let's understand the facts of the chart. We'll do the weekly, then we'll do the daily. We'll even drop down to the H4, right? Now, if we look at the weekly, we are in a downtrend stroke range. right? That's where we're at. And as Parandeep has rightly said, we are in a selling zone, right? 100%, right? We are in a selling zone in here, okay? But there isn't any candles yet to tell us to sell from this level, right? Because obviously this weekly candle hasn't finished forming. Now, if we fast forwarded to Friday and this candle looks like this, then I would suggest this is a sell trade, right? But the only candle we have to work on is this candle, right? And we've had this massive gap up, right? So there's nothing telling us yet to sell from this level, okay? So it's a beautiful selling level. It really is, but nothing's give us the impetus to start selling as yet, right? So it's a bit of a stay out for the time being, right? So let's get more information, right? Let's go to the day chart. Now, again, guys, looking at the day chart, this is interesting, actually. Looking at the day chart, what would you do? Same question, right? Would you buy, sell, or stay out of this market? So everyone, please get involved. Leave your comment right now in the live chat. Day chart, pound yen, buy, sell, or stay out. Don't be shy, guys. Please leave your answers. Right. Brett would stay out. Michael would stay out. Need a bullish candle. Okay. Dre would stay out. Stay out, but I'm not a buy now. Okay. Stuart would buy. Marcus would sell. All right. So interesting, right? Now, what I'm going to do, because you can take no information from today's candle. You can't. It hasn't finished forming, right? So let's take that away. Now, this is interesting because if you looked at this chart, right, you would clearly see we're in an uptrend. Okay, clearly. And, right, this candle, yesterday's candle, has broken these last highs, right, of this area of weekly resistance we spoke about. So surely this is potentially a good buying opportunity, right? Now, if you just looked at the daily, you know, that's what it would tell you, right? It's broken this level, right? The body of the candle has broken this level, right? Let's take it further, right? And that may still well happen. But because we looked at the weekly, we know this gray zone here is a good resistance level. And what may happen is this, guys, right? Now, price might just shoot off from here, okay? But firstly, I'm not interested. I know we're at resistance, and also there's no value, right? You know, what are you going to do? You're going to start buying in here, right? There's no value. If it has a retrace, right, perhaps down to here, right, there's value. So right now, I don't want to buy it. Even if it has broken this level, there's just no value in this trade, okay? Although everything is pointing to buy it. And now what's really interesting, guys, right, is a lot of traders will see this candle breaking these highs and they will want to buy this market. But it's a bad idea, not only because there's no value, but how that weekly candle might finish, how it might finish, right? If we go back to the weekly chart, right now, or yesterday, we had a candle, a weekly candle that looked like that, right? Because that daily candle had broken those highs, right? And on that daily candle, I bet you've had some buyers in there with a view to taking it up to here, right? But because this is a weekly level, I need to see how the weekly candle will react at that level, right? And if you end up with a candle like this, it is simply a good area to sell, right? And if we go back to the day chart, all those buyers that have been caught up in this break of this level are now getting destroyed in here, right? So really, we need to wait for that weekly candle to finish, right? But, you know, knowing it's a weekly level, even if I got a big bearish candle like this, right, I still wouldn't want to sell it because we're in an uptrend, right? So really what I want to see is a weekly, big weekly rejection candle. And then I want to see perhaps we get a day chart that does something like this, and then we get a breakdown, right? That's what I would like to see in an ideal world. Okay, and I would start selling pound yen because this is such a nice weekly level. Now, you could be more aggressive, and let's say you get a nice big bearish daily candle here, right? And then we could potentially aim for this level in here, right? But what I'd need to see is a H4 breakdown. Okay, so let's say price does this because we're clearly in an uptrend as we speak. And it will be really interesting to see how this H4 candle finishes, right? If it finishes like this, then obviously this last low is held, you know, and we're bullish. Right? But if we get a break of this level, right? Let's say price comes up, we get, maybe this candle does finish like this, and then we get a break of these lows, then I think we do have some room. There's enough room to the downside to potentially just come down to this level. So just looking at that section of support and resistance and price action, you can see there's ways we can capitalize on it, right? Some are more aggressive than others, right? This would be a H4 structure break. It wouldn't be a daily structure break, right? But we could still potentially take advantage of a bearish candle with a view just to taking it to this last high here. But yeah, one thing I know I'm not doing, that is buying, right? I'm not buying into that level, regardless of this daily candle. All right, so yeah, there you go, guys. Pound yen, it's not a buying opportunity. It's not quite a selling opportunity, but if certain things line up, I think we could look at sells from that level. All right, so hope that helps with pound yen. And guys, thanks for getting involved with all your comments. Right, I saw some questions here in the live chat as well. So let's take a look at those. Right, we've done pound yen, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Let me have a drink of coffee because I've got a killer throat today. I do too much talking. I know, violin. Hi all, hi Tom. I saw your weekend video for this week's possible swing trades. Do you still think that the dollar will strengthen? So let's look at the evidence, right? So first and foremost, if we talk about the US dollar, let's talk about the dollar index, right? And if we look at the weekly chart, right, we have got bullish, bullish, bullish. And what this blue line represents is 100, 100, right? $100, right? That is a big psychological number, right? And it's no wonder that at this psychological level, price reacts, right? Now, again, let's look at the facts of the chart, right? Now, we are in a weekly downtrend. This is where we're at, right? But down here, we know the dollar was super overextended, right? If you brought up the RSI indicator, this would be oversold. And ever since then, we've had bullish, 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 right? 3 weekly bullish candles. So that suggests, right, we have some more room to move up into, right? Because look at the moving average 20. We're nowhere near the moving average 20. And price will want to catch up with that. Even if it catches up with it all the way down here, it will still want to catch up with the moving average 20, right? So looking at this chart, we're seeing US dollar strength with the candles, and there's room for it to move into, right? When I talk about room, the moving average 20 is always a good indicator of room, right? But again, let's look at more facts, right? Let's look at the day chart now. And you can see we're in an uptrend, right? We was in this downtrend. We know the dollar's been weak, but look at this. We are now in an uptrend. We're above the moving average 20, right? We're literally bouncing off the $100 level. So the dollar is at a key level right now, because what was once resistance becomes support. It's also the $100 level, and we've got the moving average 20 coming round. So thinking about all the facts that I have just shown you, the dollar looks like a very good buying opportunity from this level, even if we just take it back to these highs, right? It does. It looks beautiful, in fact. But obviously, we don't buy the dollar index, and we'll look at some US dollar majors, right? But let's just take a quick look at the H4. I would suggest this is still in an uptrend as well, right? This is the last significant low, right? And we haven't broken that level. And again, look at that H4 candle. I would suggest that's a good buying area and a good buying candle, right? So the dollar is looking like we could see some strength come into it, right? But let's get more opinions, right? Because when you talk about the US dollar, you've got euro US dollar, pound US dollar CAD, US dollar yen, right? So let's look at a couple of the big ones. Let's have a look at euro US dollar. Let's start with the weekly, right? Now, we know big bearish candles. It's going to be like the opposite to the dollar index, right? In an uptrend, but big bearish candles and more room to move into, right? Potentially back down to this level, if not the moving average 20. This 1.1 level is a big level, right? So again, this is suggesting US dollar strength. If we look at the day chart, it is breaking down. Well, it's not breaking down, it's broken down, right? We was in this uptrend. This was all of that US dollar weakness. And then we're slowly seeing US dollar strength. We've retraced to a really nice area in here, right? You know, this looks like a really nice area for selling It really does. In fact, I like Euro US dollar for sells today. So if we go to the H4, again, right, we are in a H4 downtrend. Lower highs, lower lows, right? And we're seeing a nice, potentially a nice bearish H4 candle forming. So again, this could be a very nice sell trade. And another thing I want you to show you, right, that gap never quite got filled. And look at price. It wants to fill it. Has the market quenched its thirst for filling that gap, and now we can start seeing some sellers and we come lower, right? Quite possibly. So let's not stop there. Let's have a look at New Zealand dollar, US dollar, right? One that's we potentially don't look at that often, because this will still give us information, right? Weekly chart, we're in an uptrend, right? But look at this big bearish weekly candle. Does it have room to move down to the next piece of support in here? Yes. It's got room with the moving average 20. Yes. Right. Weekly suggests we can sell. And then if we go to the day chart, guys, this too is breaking down, right? Or it's broke down, right? Uptrend, stopped making higher highs, broke these lows. We're now in a downtrend. Nice big retrace towards the moving average 20. This looks like a nice area for selling as well. So in answer to your question, Marky Mark, yes, I still see dollar strength. But again, you need a setup, right? You can't just start diving in like a nutcase, right? So if we look at the H4, it's not looking good for a sell, right? Because on the H4 with New Zealand dollar, US dollar, this has broken these highs. So this is actually looking like an area this could bounce away from. So what I'd like to see on New Zealand US dollar is maybe something like this. We get a break and then we can start selling, because the H4 is not compatible with selling right now. All right. So yeah, I'm still seeing a bit of US dollar strength. And obviously we have US dollar news coming out and Trump can open his mouth. But when I look at the chart right now, I'm seeing good levels to carry on with this US dollar strength. Right, what else are we looking at? So Dre, I'm seeing buys for US dollar CAD if we can take a look at it. So good, right? So this plays into this US dollar strength idea. Let's have a look at US dollar CAD. Weekly chart. The thing with the weekly chart is this level through here, right? I don't know why I've got so many zones there. It's this level through here with US dollar CAD, right? Now, it broke below it. Yeah, when this come down, I was thinking, could this be good support? And it kind of broke below it. And we're just at this level now, right? But we do have a very nice weekly bullish candle that, again, is very far away from the moving average 20, right? So this weekly candle suggests we could buy US dollar CAD, right? Remember, that's a weekly candle, guys, right? If we go to the day chart, we have, the thing here is this level through here. Oh, sorry, guys, been drinking again. Because it's not that clear, right? We've got this level, and then we've just got loads of crappy price action. So has this broken these levels in here? I would say they're not substantial enough, right? And therefore, this is the last substantial level. And we haven't quite broken that. And we have a bearish daily candle. So US dollar, Canadian dollar buys is not a trade for me today, because of this candle, right? What I'd like to see with US dollar CAD is a breakout of this level, okay? So for me, it's not a buy trade, right? If we look at the H4, I would even suggest we've had a bit of a H4 structure break, right? We was in this uptrend, stopped making higher highs, and we've now broken these lows. So if anything, a trade into here and potentially come lower. So US dollar, Canadian dollar, like New Zealand dollar, US dollar, although I'm seeing US dollar strength, it's not showing me a setup, right? And that's so important, guys. It's one thing having a direction, it's another thing finding a setup. So I'm not seeing that today, Dre, but you know, maybe tomorrow, if we get a nice bullish daily candle, it will be a different story, right? This, if anything, is breaking down, and this would suggest more room to the downside. All right. And guys, please don't forget, if you enjoy my analysis, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button, and please smash the like button. If you haven't already, please come join our trading community. It is free. So come join. What are you waiting for? Come join our free Discord. And if you join our free Discord right now, we are going to give you 50% off our Simply Forex complete trading course, right? No brainer. Come join it. If you want access to all of our premium trading education, then please go check out our website, www.simply-forex.com. In there, you'll find the course that I just mentioned. You've got the mentorship program where I coach you one-on-one. And you've also got access to the VIP Trading Academy as well. So go check that out. And also, guys, today's live stream is brought to you by Blueberry Funded. If you look above my head, if you take any of their prop firm challenges right now and use our link and our code Simply20, they will give you 20% off any prop firm challenge right now. And we are hearing nothing but good things, guys, from Blueberry Funded, right? So yeah, go check it out if you're looking for a prop firm challenge right now. Right, what else are we looking at? Right, what else are we looking at? I'm just going through the live chat, guys. Right, so we've answered them. Yeah, Marky Mark, you are right. Too much talking needs neat vodka, not coffee. Exactly. I've put whiskey in my coffee. This is an Irish coffee today. Okay. Carlos wants to look at gold, and we've also got a question here. Please explain how to use a heat map. A heat map, you mean like what what currencies are strong and which aren't? Now, again, it's all lagging, right? And you can tell what currencies are strong and which aren't, right? So you can go online right now, right? I forget what the other one's called, but you can get heat maps of what's strong and what isn't, right? Or you can get charts that tell you pound is strong, US dollar isn't, Swiss franc is strong. But it's all telling you that, but the market can change very quickly. You don't need that information. Because right, I'll give you an example. Right? So right now on a heat map, right, it would show you that euro US dollar is strong. And who can disagree? It is strong, right? But it's just telling me it's strong now, right? I don't care about its strength now, right? Because if I look at the day chart, as we just explained, right, we like euro US dollar sells and we're in a nice area. It might want to go up a little bit further, right? Let's see. As soon as I get a setup, I will sell euro US dollar. And if you think about that, guys, if you look at the H4, until I sell it, the euro will be strong. So I will be going against a heat map or strength graph, whatever you use. And then as soon as we get a big bearish H4 candle, I will be selling it. And then price comes shooting down, and then the heat map will be going, oh no, the euro is weak now. It's just totally irrelevant, pointless information. So, Mark, don't worry about heat maps, complete waste of your time. What you might be talking about is you can get these heat maps that show you volume. So you get these like charts on the side here like this, right? And let's say this level here, you'll get large volume spikes, or this level in here, you'll get large volume spikes. So that kind of tells you where support and resistance potentially is, where lots of buyers enter the market. But again, you can tell that, right, by looking at the chart and looking at support and resistance levels. And obviously at these levels, right, these levels here or here, this is where you see an increase in volume. But again, you don't need an indicator to tell you that, right? The chart shows you those levels. So yeah, I wouldn't base any decisions on those types of things, Mark, and stay away from them, right? Everything you need to know is on that chart. So just read the chart, right? What else are we looking at? Lee, thank you for proposing this question. So Lee said, hi Tom, I often hear about correlated pairs like the S&P and the Aussie dollar are correlated. So is Bitcoin to the said index. What's overall consensus when it comes to correlated pairs? I've done a beautiful tutorial today that I put in the VIP Trading Academy. And I just don't have enough time to go through it yet. But what I might do is release that into the wild, maybe in a couple of weeks, Lee, and I'll let you know. So we've done, it's a really good tutorial on correlated pairs. Generally speaking, right, if the indice is strong, then flight to safeties are weak, right? Yen, Swiss franc, gold. And if the indices are strong, then Aussie dollar is strong. And the opposite is true if the indices are weak. Flight to safeties are strong, Aussie dollar's weak. So yeah, there you go, Lee. Okay, or if tomorrow, yeah, okay. Right, and gold. Carlos, let's have a quick look at gold for Carlos. Have I got any more coffee left? Yes. You know when you get the sort of the heavy residue at the bottom, so I have to give that a little swish round. And that's cold now, nothing like cold coffee. I hate it when you get served like a lukewarm coffee in a coffee shop. Happens all the time out here. To be fair, it is like 40 degrees at the moment, so probably need a cooler coffee. Gold. So is that a critical level? Right, if you go to the day chart, and we actually spoke about this yesterday, Carlos, right? Now, we're in a range on the day chart, right? This is what we're seeing. Now, this is obviously proven to be quite a key level. Now, the problem you have here, right, when I get a break of key levels, normally I'm like, right, let's get trading. But if you get a break, let's say you get a big bearish daily candle, as soon as you get a break of that level, you have the next piece of support straight away, right? So where's, can we find some value in that trade, right? Maybe you can, but generally speaking, we break this level, we're literally at another level of support. So that makes selling difficult. But if we break this level, I want to sell. Fine. And if you look at the weekly chart, it's pretty bearish, right? And this suggests, all these candles suggest we have more room to the downside, maybe to here, maybe even further, right? But that's the problem with the day chart, right? So if you drop down to the H4, right? Now let's imagine we have a daily candle, right? And it finishes there. This is your target, right? And you want to hide your stop loss above the highs, right? And you're here. Yeah, there's no value. Now, maybe if you get a nice retrace into here, right, we could start selling in here because your risk to reward starts to make sense, right? But chances are, if you break that level and it's a big bearish candle, it will just go pop into the next piece of support. And pop is a technical term, right? So gold, I don't like it. If you're going to trade gold, you may as well look at another flight to safety. You may as well look at some yen pairs or some Swiss franc pairs, because I really like CAD yen, right? And this is potentially giving us some, right? We've got this uptrend. We've got really nice retrace. I can't help but feel it wants to fill this gap. And then if we get some nice bullish candles out of here, right, CAD yen would be a nice trade, right? Because if you're selling gold, right, and this goes back to correlations, if you're selling gold, you're basically saying gold weakness, right? And if you're saying gold weakness, the same trade is yen weakness. So this CAD yen through correlation would be exactly the same trade. If you were selling gold and buying CAD yen, it's pretty much the same trade. It's highly, highly correlated. All right. So I would look for a better flight to safety pair to trade. All right, guys. What else have we got? Mark says, if you could only trade one time frame. Okay. Heath Hayden, how are you? Welcome. Yeah, Mark, don't worry about the heat map. Waste of your time and energy, really. Mark, if you could only trade one time frame, I would trade. It's a toss-up between the daily and the H4. I would probably trade the H4, right? Because the daily chart is too slow to react, but more reliable. But I just, H4 will give you more trades and still very reliable, but just not as reliable as the day chart. So yeah, I would, if I could only trade one, I would trade the H4. All right, guys, and on that note, we are going to call it a day because my throat needs a rest. I'm going to bathe it in honey and whiskey. I don't know. All right, guys, but please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button, and smash that like button, guys. Much appreciated. Also, please don't forget to check out our website and come join our free trading community. Have a great trading day, and I'll see you again tomorrow, guys. Adios. I've just got to do this myself.